When the sun begins to dim, it's up to 3 unlikely heroes to save Earth from disaster. However, 2 of them die on the journey, leaving the fate of the world to one man. Or so it would seem. It's Project Hail Mary. I'm Ronald Young Jr., and I'm leaving the theater. All right, this is Ronald, and I'm leaving the theater after seeing Project Hail Mary. Project Hail Mary, written by Drew Goddard, directed by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, starring Ryan Gosling, Sandra Huller, Lionel Boyce, Ken Leung, Milana Vayntrub, James Ortiz, and Priya Kansara. And as usual, for a complete listing of the cast and crew, check out the link in our show notes. I am not here alone.
Nope.
I am here with
Darryl C Murphy.
Darryl C Murphy. Making himself laugh. This is the joy that leaving the theater brings you every week. We have not had a guest in a while, so it is good to have seen a movie not by myself. Now, Project Hail Mary is based on the book Project Hail Mary, written by Andy Weir, who also wrote The Martian, which was a critical darling a few years ago, starring Matt Damon, about a man who has to survive on Mars in order to get back to Earth. This is about a man who wakes up with amnesia in space, not knowing what exactly he is in space for, and has to piece it together, a mission to save the planet. I actually realized that I might be giving more context because I read the book than what you actually saw in the movie. So let's start right there. Darryl C Murphy, what did you think of Project Hail Mary?
I think it's a fun movie. It's a fun watch. A little long. The end could have been better. It ran too long. It got corny. But there was, two bros in space, I thought it was a fun watch. I wish it was a little shorter. And it did make me, I was suspicious. When I saw that it was an Amazon production, I was immediately suspicious. And I put my thinking hat on, and I was like, what is this movie trying to tell us? I didn't read the book. So, do you want me to get into that or wait?
No, you can get into it. It sounds like you liked it, which was the main thing I wanted to get. We could get into the Amazon of it all in 1 second. Yeah. I will say I liked the movie. I don't think it was a great adaptation. Okay. I think that they left a lot of context out of this movie. I thought the stakes were too low. As a matter of fact, in the third act of the movie, the stakes are sat down at a desk and explained to another person. They're mentioned earlier in the movie, but there's no indication of how serious this is or what is to happen to all of these people. There's not enough talking about that and what it means. And by the time the main character is forced to make a decision towards the end of the film, I don't think there was enough character development about him that is told in the flashbacks that justified the decision that he makes in the movie. That being said, I've read the books. So for me, I knew why he did everything that he did. However, I had to rip the context of the books out of my mind in order to truly enjoy the movie. And when I rip that context out, then I start to have problems with the movie in that sense. Now, all of that being said, I will let you dive into the Amazon of it all.
Yeah, so the Amazon of it all, right? Where I take issue is with this obsession with space. We know that these, Jeff Bezos has Blue Origin, Elon Musk has SpaceX, Richard Branson has whatever Virgin spaceships, whatever he got. There's a lot going on with space. Aerospace is a very key part of the empire, right? It is key to the war machine, as anybody who's been paying attention to the news probably can understand. Why is it we have to go into outer space to another galaxy to save the planet when you could stay on the planet and save the planet? Like, let's talk about climate change. Let's talk about bombing people and use senseless wars, capitalism. So immediately, like, my mind, when I see Amazon, I go into, all right, what is this movie about to tell me? And it's propaganda that says the problems on Earth are somewhere out there. It's not here. It's not from people like, I don't know, Jeff Bezos, like billionaires who are just like, and no, F that. It's not from these people who are like just extracting from Earth, extracting from people, just ruining everything. Yo, you want to save the planet? Get rid of capitalism. You want to save the planet? Get rid of all these like weapons and nuclear bombs and all this shit. You telling me that there's a virus eating the sun? What is that? I know we got to use imagination, but again, when it comes from Amazon, I immediately went there. I was like, all right, this is some space boy propaganda that wants people's imagination to be on what's out there and not what's right here, to see that the very person bringing you this movie is part of the problem. And even in this fantastical movie of this guy who goes to another galaxy, right? Some very unrealistic things happen in this movie. They still could not bring themselves to keep the brother alive, which that just stuck out to me too. I was like, you still using these old tropes in movies, and but in a movie that is just so completely unreal. Why couldn't you, could we have avoided that? I don't know. I just think that this is one of those movies where, like, if you're somebody like me who like thinks about all these things all the time, you just know that you'll have to set that part of yourself aside to just enjoy it as a fun little movie, because like the writing is fun and the story is cute. It's like it's you got a little E.T. in there, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a cool movie up until like the last maybe half hour. The last half hour it gets a little, all right, I don't know what's going on here. They could have cut this off. What focus group said this was okay? Sorry, I just ranted, but basically it is propaganda, but if you could set that aside, it is a fun movie. Just coming back to that.
Okay, so let me just tell you, I'm gonna tell you what's in the book. Astrophage is in the book. Virus eating the sun is in the book. Them having to go to Tau Ceti, that's all in the book. Now let me tell you what I think is important to note. I think that this story can be written and obviously be adapted and be propaganda in a very particular way. Mm-hmm. Where I think the propaganda actually comes in is not necessarily in the main storytelling, but in the low stakes. Basically, we're not going to talk about the fact that people are going to die, starvation, all of that, which is horrible, a horrible way to die, which they don't really go into.
But people are dying from that right now. That was the thing, right? Like, 20,000, 25 million, 250 million people are going to die in 30 years. Yo, millions of people are dying right now because of stupid wars. Like, and we all know who's at the center of that, us, the United States, right? Like, what is this? What it does is like it creates this world where like those problems don't exist, right? Like it wants us to like imagine to come out of this world and go into this realm and into this mindset, so we could watch this movie as if like none of this stuff is happening around us. I mean, not to exaggerate, but at the point in time in which we watched this movie, we are like very much tiptoeing around World War III, and like it just, maybe it's the timing of it all. I don't know. I just could not shake that. Like, why do we have to have these movies? But now, I know it's a book. I know all of that. I guess it's the timing that is like rubbing me wrong about this. It's just like, why do we need a movie that has us looking in outer space? Like, why do we have to keep going in outer space, right? Because to me, it's just like, it's a Blue Origin commercial, because it's a way for like, it primes everybody's mind for, you know, Jeff Bezos to be like, this is why we got to go out there, because like, you never know, it might be an alien, it might be a Rocky out there, something like that. Like, planting these ideas in your imagination so that you can use that imagination for someone else's agenda, you know what I'm saying? Or be open to someone else's agenda, because now, like, we could tell kids, we want to go on a rocket ship so we can see Rocky. Like, this is the type of crap that you can like tell people when this rocket ship, when this is so unnecessary right now. Like, anyway, you know,
I agree with everything you're saying, but we got to review the movie.
I'm sorry. The movie it's a.
Wait, hold on. Let me jump in.
My bad, man.
Yeah, we caught Darryl on a day. He is on one. No. I agree with everything you say.
Plenty of problems right here on Earth.
Well, let me say this. I was going to get into it. I was like, I think the one thing the movie, until your point, is that it is very much, they take from the book and they extract it and say, we're going to get the two guys who made the Lego movie to make this a fun and silly movie about space friendship and the beauty of space. There's a lot of wonder in this film in a way that kind of is reminiscent of Interstellar, where I'm looking at it, these beautiful shots of big grandiose shots of space, of lens flare, all of these things that are kind of meant to kind of lull you into this sense of, oh man, what a beautiful movie, what a pretty movie. And then it ends up being about friendship in a very specific way, a man and his dog in a lot of ways. When it gets to the end, it does feel corny specifically. All of that being said, I think that Ryan Gosling did a very good job in this film. He acted a lot of it by himself. Mm-hmm. And I think for him to have to go from silly to very serious at times and very emotional was very good. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry.
It's his Castaway.
Yeah, it's essentially, yes. It's his Castaway, I think. So that being, other than that, other than the Blue Origin of it all, the Amazon of it all, I think at its heart, it's a fine movie. Mm-hmm. But as someone who read the book, I think there's a lot of context that they left out that I think would have probably been helpful and maybe made it an even better movie. But you're right. When Amazon's doing it, of course, they're just going to be like, hey, we're going to talk to y'all about space. What's good? Yeah.
You know, and again, I think
your rants are on the record, so you're good.
Yeah, like, I think I'm thinking about this stuff because, like, yeah, it's the timing of it all and everything. Absolutely. And I think it just speaks to, like, this is where we are right now in movies and in media, you know what I'm saying? So, like, even as I would say, yes, this is a good movie to watch, you know, definitely, like, if it comes on streaming, Amazon Prime or whatever.
That's exactly where it will be.
You know what I'm saying? Like, sure, kick it, watch it, enjoy it, just know it's going to get corny in the last half hour. But also understand that this movie reflects where we are in media. And where we seem to be headed, where these movies, they're gonna have big names in them. They're gonna be good quality, but they do serve a purpose. They are a brick on somebody's wall. So, you know, just keep that in mind when you're watching this, you know what I'm saying? But I think Ryan Gosling did great. I think I was happy to see Lionel Boyce in it. I
loved him. He did great.
Yeah, I was happy to see him in it. I was happy to see I don't want to disrespect her, but
Sandra Huller?
No, the AT&T lady.
Oh, you're talking about Marina.
Yeah, like, it's nice to see, like, those faces kind of pop up, and you're just like, oh, okay, bet, that's what's up. But I was definitely happy to see Lionel Boyce.
I was happy to see Lionel Boyce. I was happy to see Ken Leung from Industry. Very good to see him. Yep. And I think what you're saying is important in terms of in terms of what we can expect to see and what movies are doing in terms of creating culture. This is certainly pushing us in a direction. And I think the awareness of that going into it might make you watch the movie a little bit differently and say, okay, let's just go ahead and watch it. Best friend to the show, frequent guest or formerly frequent guest Nicole Hill hates space, hates anything to do with space. It's very much, and there's a poem everybody should look up by Gil Scott Heron, Whitey on the Moon, which will tell you like why, especially for black folks and space, why it's very unusual for us to look up in the stars and wonder in a way, even though Afrofuturism tells us that we are going to be in the future, which I really appreciate. And I really appreciate seeing black folks among the stars and all that. That's cool. But I think it's important to look at a movie like this and really consider everything that you're saying and why a movie like this comes out at a time like this. Even if we had not attacked Iran right now, we'd still be wondering, what is this movie trying to tell us about space at this moment? But it only feels more ill-timed when we are primed for World War III. All of that being said, here at Leave It at Theater, we rate movies out of 5 stars.
And wait, can I say one more thing to your point?
You can, but you have to do it quickly.
I will. You brought up Afrofuturism.
Yes.
And
you got to do it in less than a minute.
What's interesting, too, is I alluded to this earlier. Of everybody who was supposed to go to space, who did not get to go?
When you put it that way.
You see what I'm saying? Who was he replacing?
You're right.
That's all I'm saying.
All the people of color and women were zeroed out.
No,
so.
the one woman made it.
No, she did.
No, they both died. Like
That's my point.
Yeah. Like they were supposed to die though, but like they got to space. You know what I'm saying? Like,
they got to space, but they died in their comas.
Yeah. Okay. Fair. That one is fair. Yeah. But somebody didn't even make it on the ship. They got rid of them early.
And they didn't even give the context as to why they died. The book does. The movie doesn't really do a good job. Yeah. That being said, out of 5 stars, what do you give this movie?
3 out of 5 comes to mind. 3.5, excuse me. 3.5 out of 5 comes to mind.
Okay. I give it a 4. Mostly because I think it was good, and I'm actually grading up because I think I would normally give it a 3.5 if I had not read the book. I think that because I read the book, I wanted to grade it down, but I'm assuming that if I had not read the book, I would have walked out of this saying that's a 4-star movie. So I'm gonna give it 4 stars.
I mean, 4 stars is fair too. 4 stars is fair.
I think 3.5 is. Yeah. I think 3.5 is also fair. You didn't read the book, so that makes me. But I also know that the grading down that you're giving has more to do with the messaging. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, these days you have to pay attention to what a movie is for and what it's trying to tell you. Like, and it's just where we are right now, and we cannot afford to just sit down and be like, okay, it's just a movie, because it's not just a movie. It's not just a movie. It's never just a thing. It's something more to it, especially when it comes to media. So yeah, part of it is what the movie is trying to tell us, but also how it's put together. There's art, there's creativity to it. There's still big moves. There's still moments that pull at your heartstrings and all this stuff. So like, I'm respecting that as well. But overall, yeah, I'm like, what direction is this movie trying to take us?
I mean, I'm not mad at it. That's something I do on this show all the time. Even I talk a lot more about like casting decisions and what that says for the story. But this is a wider lens with which to view movies, and I'm not mad at it. So I appreciate it. And with that, Leaving the Theater is a production of Oh It's Big Ron Studios. I mixed this episode. And if you like this type of cutting edge dialogue about the movies, know that it takes a lot of work to get this done. I'm seeing a movie tonight. I'm seeing 2 movies tomorrow. I'm seeing Hoppers and Protector. I'm seeing another movie on Friday, Normal. And I'm seeing a day's worth of movie on Saturday, which I will not be recording for. That's just for my enjoyment. That's 4 days of movies. Four of those movies I will be recording and making episodes of Leaving the Theater for you. Not to mention, we just did the live show Heartbreaker. There's a lot of effort that went into that, a lot more effort going into it now. Wait for it. Still in production. Still working on that. All of these are projects that I'm passionate about. I put a lot of effort into. And if you are a patron, you get an inside look about how this work is being done, and you get the bonus materials as well. Everything that I'm doing is a labor of love, but it is labor. If that means something to you, go to patreon.com/ohitsbigron to become a patron and help us out. Show art from Heather Wilder. Theme music by the mysterious Breakmaster Cylinder. For more information about Project Hail Mary or Darryl C Murphy, check out our show notes. You can follow me on Instagram, Blue Sky, TikTok, Threads, or Letterboxd at ohitsbigron. That's at OHITSBIGRON. You can find out more about this show and other Oh It's Big Ron Studios shows by following us on Instagram at Oh It's Big Ron Studios. Leaving the Theater will be back soon. Thanks for listening, and thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
I thought you were going to end with something like open your third eyes. I'm Ronald Young Jr., and I'm
Extracting from Earth, extracting from people, just ruining everything.